Good morning, students. This is chapter number 6, Major Landforms of the Earth of Geography. In the previous chapters, all of you have read about all the spheres of Earth. In that spheres, we have read about lithosphere also, that is the uppermost layer of the Earth. And that uppermost layer, if we see from the space, it looks flat. But in reality, it is not flat. It from somewhere are oceans and somewhere there are continents. There are too many landforms are there. Somewhere mountains are rivers, plateaus. These types of features are there, and these features are called the relief features or the landforms of the Earth. So when the landforms appear in the permanent manner, we see, but it takes millions of years to form on the earth, and demolish it takes for demolishing also a millions years. And in this process, two forces are acting, that are internal forces and external forces of the earth. Internal process In the internal process, the internal forces that are occurring under the earth are some gases or other things like volcanoes. You can see, and they are coming from internal forces of earth. And some external forces that are working on these landforms are like winds, glaciers, and water, rain, etc. These things are the external forces that are working on these landforms. And when the landform is the process going with the process, that is called the gradation. As you see that sometimes we see that the soil that the rivers are bringing from that mountains, they are scratching the mountains, and then the soil they are scratching, that they are bringing to the plains. So that is called the gradation. And this process is divided into two parts, that is degradation and aggradation. Degradation means the things that are there on the earth, they are degrading. Means they are if the height of the mountain, if there is a mountain, its height is decreasing because of degradation. And the height of the mountain is increasing because of internal forces of the earth, that is called aggradation. And deposition of soil also is called aggradation. When the soil is bring by the rivers from the mountains, and that is settled down in the plains, that deposition is called the aggradation of the uh, aggradation of the earth. These landforms are divided into mainly three parts, that is mountains, plains, and plateaus. Firstly, we will talk about the mountains. Mountains are the natural elevation of the earth's surface. Elevation means that thing that is above from the surrounding, that is raised above from the surroundings, that are called the mountains. And these are formed by internal forces. When there are internal forces are working, it takes millions of years to make mountains. And we can't see that the mountains are rising, because it is very slow process. And some mountains have the mountains are having the cold climate on it because of that altitude. And there are glaciers also there. And glaciers are the main source of water for the rivers. And there are the name of the glaciers are Beltro, Siachen, Yamunotri, Gangotri. These are the glaciers in the Himalayan range. And mountains, I have explained, that is the raised platform, that is called the mountain from the surrounding area. And mountain ridge is called that it is a system of long, narrow, and high hills. Means too many mountains, two or three mountains when collectively are called mountain ridge. And mountain range is the system of the mountains, that mountains and hills having several ridges. Means too many mountains are there in a straight line, or in in a curve, that is called the mountain range. Then mountain chain. Mountain chain means when there are too many mountain ranges are there. 1, 2, 3, as our Himalayan range is there. There are 3 mountain ranges that are called, the Himalaya is called then mountain chain. That is middle Himalaya, upper Himalaya and lower Himalaya, and that are called the mountain chains. When more than 2 ranges are there, then that is called mountain chain. And it is a system or group of parallel ranges together, and some example are there, Andes and Rocky Mountains. Now you are having the examples of the mountains ranges, that is Himalayan and Andes in the South America. And mountains were not there when the earth was young. When the earth has formed, the mountains are not there. Due to the external and internal forces, the mountain ranges has grown, and with the long process they will also die also because of degradation. Now we will talk about the types of the mountains. First is fold mountain, second block mountain, volcanic mountain, and residual mountains. Firstly, fold mountains. Himalayan range that is in India is a fold mountain that is formed when the crust of earth has bent and 2 tectonic plates move together and move upward. Then this range has formed. Tectonic plate, you very much know that this is the hard surface of the earth that is moved upward because of the internal forces of the earth, that is called the fold mountain. As you can see in this picture, the tectonic plates formation of that fold mountains, this is the hard crust when it is moved upward, that are making the fold mountains. And it contains too many parallel ranges also, and it's also have chains also. And Himalaya is the young fold mountain, means a few million years ago the Himalaya has formed, and it is they are having the pointed peak also. Himalaya, Alps, Andes, Rockies, these are the fold mountains, examples of the fold mountains. And old fold mountains have rounded features with low height. That old fold mountains they are having round peak and low height. The old fold mountains ranges example is Great Dividing Range and Panis and Alpines and Aravalli ranges in India. These are the old fold mountains. Example of the old fold mountains. Now block mountains, as you can see in this picture, when one tectonic plate rises from the because of the internal forces of the earth up from the earth, that make the block mountain. And in block mountain there are valleys on the one side or both side, that is because of the uprising of that one tectonic plate, and that upliftment is called horsts. And while these lower tectonic plates are called the graben. This upward tectonic plate is called horsts, and this lower tectonic plate is called graben. Vosges Mountain and Rhine Valley is the example of the block mountain, and Rhine Valley and is located in the Vosges and Black Forest, and Mr. in the Spain, and northern and southern uplands of Scotland are also example of the block mountain. Now volcanic mountains. Volcanic mountains are that mountains that are made because of the volcanic material that are ejected by the volcanoes. Mount Kilimanjaro and Mount Fusiyama and Etna and Ixtachu in Mexico, these are the examples of the volcanic mountains. Now, what are the uses of mountains? What are the advantages of mountains? You are very much aware that mountains are the source of water because too many rivers are there, and they are providing hydroelectricity also and water for irrigation also. Mountains also give the building material such as granite, marble, limestone, because they are hard, having rocky and hard surface. Many precious stones are also found there in this hard crust. and their river valleys are used for cultivation. They are growing, people are growing their tea, wheat, and fruits, etc. They also provide the grasslands for grazing the cattle. The mountains are also having a variety of flora. Flora means herbs and flowers, and fauna means too many animals are there on the mountains. Mountains also provide shelter to the wild animals, and too many forests are there on the mountain that are giving the forest material like timber, resins, gum, etc. And mountains also maintain ecological balance and check the environmental pollution because of that uh, forest area, and check the on the soil erosion also. Some mountain regions act as a tourist also. When there is too hot there in the plains, then the people are going to the mountains for relief and pleasure. Mountains are also having some popular several types of the sports like skiing, river rafting, paragliding, and hang gliding, etc. These are the sports that are done on the mountains. Now the limitations of the mountains, they lack in the fertile soil because the soil is washed away by the rivers, and the rugged mountains terrains make transportation where there people can't make that roads. Then there is less transportation, and communication is very difficult on the mountain ranges, and mountainous areas are not much favorable for cultivation because of the slopes. Firstly, people have to cut down that slopes and make the steps, then they can go with that cultivation. Now we will talk about the plateau. As you know, these are the flat tablelands raised above from the surrounding area, that is called the plateau. In India, there is Deccan Plateau. Example is Deccan Plateau in the center of India, and in Kenya and Tanzania, Uganda, and Western Plateau of Australia are the example of the old plateaus. The plateaus are divided into four types, three types. First is intermontane plateau. These plateaus are partially or completely surrounded by the mountains. That is called intermontane plateau, in which the plateau is surrounded by the mountain ranges. This is the highest and the largest plateaus of the earth are intern plateaus. The Tibet plateau is the example of this intermontane plateau. Then Piedmont Plateau. Piedmont Plateau is that plateau that is on the foothill of the mountain. That is called the Piedmont Plateau. And Colorado Plateau is the example of this plateau. Here it is given. This is the mountain range, and at the foothill of the mountain this is the plateau that is called the Piedmont Plateau. Then the continental plateau. These plateaus are from the lowland, from the sea. As in India, there is a Deccan Plateau that are made by the tectonic plates. Full plate is coming upward, then they are made. That is the Deccan Plateau, Chota Nagpur Plateau, and Western Plateau, and East African Plateau. These are the main continental plateau of the world. And now the advantages of plateau. These plateaus are having rich mineral deposits on it. There are too many coal mines and diamond or gold mines are there on the plateaus. Deccan Plateau was formed by the volcanic activities, so it provides the igneous rocks and black soil that is good for cotton cultivation. And when the rivers falls from the high plateaus, then the hydroelectricity can also be produced in these waterfalls. And in our country, Hundra waterfalls on the Subarna Rekha Chota Nagpur Plateau and the Jog Falls on the river Sharavati in Karnataka are very important waterfalls to generate hydroelectricity. And they can also be developed as the place of tourist destination also, and coastal areas of Deccan Plateaus are the tourist destination. Plateaus are also rich in coal, manganese, and limestone, iron, etc. The limitations of the plateaus are that the plateaus in the world are composed of hard rocks, therefore less favorable for the human settlements, and people wants to live in the plain area. And the farming activities on the plateau depend on the rainfall. If there is lack of rainfall, then it is not suitable for human settlement. Now we will come to the plains. As you know that we are living in the plain area, that is the northern plains of India, that are the flat lands, low-lying flat lands, stretched lands, that are called the plains, and they are not having a height of more than 200 meters from the sea level. These plains are usually formed by that the soil that are bring by the river and deposited on these lands. Plains can be extremely flat and slightly rolling, and made of the plains are very fertile. Most of the plains are fertile because the rivers are bringing the soil from the upper part of the mountains. The Gangetic Plains, Indus Valley Plains in Pakistan, Nile Valley Plains in Africa, Yangtze Plain in China, and Prairies Plains in North America. These are the plains that are formed by the rivers. Now the advantages of plains. Plains are very fertile, having fertile soil and good for agriculture because they are flat, and their climate is suitable for the human settlement. It is they are having not having the harsh climate as the mountains are having, and the coastal plains have seaports also, harbors, lakes, and lagoons also. uh, Deltas are good for cultivation, and seaports and harbors are good for export of the goods also. And plains are flat, which make the construction of the transport network very easy because they are having the flat lands. Rivers are very useful for navigation and irrigation, and there are greater facilities that the trade and manufacturing of things, that factories and the large factories can also be made on these flat lands. And plains provide more flat land that is suitable for building houses also, and for cultivation also. Flat lands is good for cultivation also. Since plains are giving us the favorable conditions for human settlements, these are very thickly populated regions of the world because there is easy to make houses on these plain lands, and plains consist only one-third of the world's land but support three-fourths of the world population where they are in the plain lands. In India also, the Indo-Gangetic plains are the most densely populated region of the country. The limitation of plains are there, that the plains are so fertile and useful for human settlement, but some plains are too dry and too wet. As you can see that the Rajasthan Sahara Desert, these are the dry areas where there is less population. Atacama deserts, these are the less populated settlements are there. Now the effects of the increasing population on the landforms. Various types of landforms are found on the surface of the earth. The people are exploiting these landforms. Too many mines are there on that mountains also, and plateau regions also. And in the plains, industrialization for industries and for cultivation, the forests are cutting down, and people are making their industries and houses for residence. And due to this deforestation, the landforms are affected by these human settlements, and too many earthquakes, tsunamis, and uh, volcanoes are bringing floods due to these human activities. They bring huge loss to the life and property. To control such losses of life and property, we have to take some steps. That are, the first is that we should be fully aware about the natural calamities and take mitigation measures. Means before when we get the warning, we have to go with the things, then we will leave that place where there is tsunamis coming or floods are coming. We should not misuse the natural resources of land and water. That we should not go of digging of the land to for mines. Limited mines should be there, and limited forest should not be cut for constructing of houses. And throwing of garbage should be in the proper manner. and unnecessarily don't cut the trees, and we have to plant new or more trees. Then the landforms are the great gift that are given by the God or the earth to us. So we have to protect this our mother earth. We should not misuse and fulfill our selfish needs. We have to go with to save that earth and the landforms. That is all about the chapter. Thank you and have a nice day.